Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking all about the real price of becoming a landlord. See, everybody would like to become a landlord because that means that you own rental properties and you're going to be getting cash flow every single month. But the drawback is that there's a lot of things that go into it, so just be prepared for the risk. And today's video is all about how my wife and I got started with the fourplex and how this whole process played out and how we were able to learn really quickly that it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to being a landlord. So let's get right into it. So the way that we found this property is we looked online. I searched fourplexes in my city and I found a really nice one that I was looking for in my price range. And so we went and toured the place. And as we walked through all the different rooms of the different units, we got to kind of meet the tenants that were there. They knew that we were interested in buying the place. And once we actually bought it, we introduced ourselves again. Hey, we're the new landlords. Nice to meet you. That kind of thing, chit-chatting. The only problem is that one of those tenants, we had to actually issue a 30-day notice that they had to leave the property. They could no longer renew their lease. They were on a month-to-month lease and they were the only tenant that was on that month-to-month. So they were the ones that we decided needed to move out because part of our loan agreement of buying the home was that we needed to live in it for a year within 2 months of buying the property. So we had to move them out, unfortunately, and maybe that left a bad taste in the other tenant's mouth. I'm not too sure, but we're gonna go into the story of how this all played out. So this couple that had lived there for a few years, they went ahead and moved out. So once they moved out, we dropped about $8,000 with the full renovation of this unit. It needed new paint, it needed the popcorn ceiling scraped off, new flooring, new fixtures, all that. We put this in. We even renovated the kitchen really nicely because we knew we were gonna live here for a couple years and we wanted to really enjoy the place. So after about a month of renovation, we moved right in and we were having a great time until one of the tenants in the other properties decided that from one day to the next, they just weren't gonna pay rent and they were moving out. Now, with those of you who are unfamiliar with the laws, you have to issue a 30-day notice if you're gonna be breaking your lease for you to receive your deposit back that you gave to your landlord. But these people did not do that. They didn't care. They were just gonna leave, which left us kind of high and dry, right? Because we needed a tenant for that apartment. But luckily, we had some extra cash saved over and we actually wanted to renovate that unit as well. So once they left, we got some construction workers in there. We did a full renovation as well. We dropped another probably $5,000 into that unit because we knew that we could up the rents once they left. Because the rents at their time was about $725 for that unit. We wanted to bring it up to $850 with the renovation. So we did that and it took us about a full month. But here's the thing that happened. During that month, another tenant of ours decided from one day to the next, she could not pay rent and she was needing to move out. And at this point, we're like, oh snap. You know, this is 2 units that we are no longer receiving rent for. We still have mortgage due every single month and we're renovating on top of that. So we're dropping a lot of cash right now during this time and we kind of started to panic a little bit, but God took care of us the entire way. So as we were renovating this unit, we decided to try to get someone to rent this other unit out on Craigslist. So we posted it, we posted pictures, we had a sign out of our door. We put it on Facebook Marketplace as well. And sure enough, I had someone reach out to me. She was from another city, but she was gonna be moving in. She came and looked at it and she didn't really like it because it was more of our low end unit. You know, it didn't have any renovations or anything like that. And I could tell that she likes kind of nicer things. So what I told her, I was like, hey, this unit is $700. It's our cheapest one, but I have another unit that we're renovating over here that's gonna be $850 if you'd like to look at it. It's got a different kitchen layout. It's got granite countertops. And she's like, okay, cool. So she went in and although it was halfway renovated, she really liked the potential. And so she said, hey, give me a call as soon as this place is ready. I'm pretty sure that we'd like to move in. So I was like, all right, sweet. Within a couple weeks, I went ahead and called her. She was ready to move in. So we found a tenant for that $850 unit. And on top of that, right after that, we were able to find another tenant for the other unit that was empty. So thankfully, within about a month, we had tenants right back in. And here's the part that really changed the game for us. We made sure that before these tenants signed our lease agreement, they were gonna be doing it for a year. And on top of that, they needed to go through a background check. Now, this is crucial if you're ever gonna become a landlord. You wanna make sure that your people go through a background check that checks their criminal history, and it also checks their credit to make sure that they haven't gotten evicted or they don't owe a ton of money, because if they have a really low credit score, then chances are they're not gonna be able to afford rent at your place, and soon enough, they're gonna be breaking their contract, which is not what you want. And now on top of the background check, you're gonna also wanna make sure that the deposits are a big enough amount of money that your tenants don't just skip out on you from one day to the next. You see, the reason that these other tenants that we inherited, the reason they left is because their deposits were only like $400. which is literally like, that's nothing when it comes to a deposit. Usually a deposit is 1 month's rent. So when these next people came in, although it took a little bit longer to get these tenants because it was a lot of money, we asked them for $700 and $850 as their deposit on top of their 1 month's rent up front. So that's a lot of money. But because of that, neither of these tenants ever wanted to leave abruptly because they knew, hey, I have $850 in this, or I have $700 in this, and I'm just not going to give that up. So they took care of the place. They're very good with communication, and actually we became really good friends. And that's what's really cool about becoming a landlord and living on the same property, is you get to become friends with these people if you're friendly. If you don't want to mess with people, then you don't have to, but these people were really nice, and it was really cool to get to know them and kind of be a part of their life. So that was really awesome. Now I would say about 3 months later, our final inherited tenant that lived next to us actually did the same exact thing. They moved out abruptly and just from one day to the next said, we're not going to pay rent, we're moving out. And I thought, man, is this like what it is to be a landlord? Like, why is this happening, right? This is so weird. But also their deposit was very low, so me and my wife thought, well, that's probably what it was. So we renovated their unit and we put a little bit of money into it, and we got to rent that place out for $775, and we put it on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. And shortly after that, a family applied for it and got approved, and we had all of our units rented out. But also during the first year, we had a water heater go out, which was like $400 to replace. And we also had an entire AC unit break on us, which was $2,400. So as you can see, guys, just from some of the numbers that I've been sharing with you, it was a lot of money to become a landlord. But luckily, over time, this place has been doing really well. All of our tenants are really nice. They've stayed for a long time and they're paying all their rent on time. So it's really cool. And what's really awesome also is that my wife likes to make goodies for them, baked goods for them every now and then. And we just get to show God's love to them in being their landlords. So as far as rent numbers go, we took these units from $2,100 to $2,340 every single month that we're receiving in cash. And that's because we're not including this unit, which would probably rent out for about $900. And once we move out, that's just going to be cash flow that we'll be able to use in our next investment property or in the next home that we own. So landlording can be expensive. You got to be ready for whatever happens. But overall, in the long run, we're really looking forward to, you know, this loan being paid off over time and it just being a rental property that cash flows. And when we pass, we can leave one of these properties to our children. And what's really cool is at that point, man, these places are going to be renting probably for what, like $3,500 a month as far as like all 4 units go. That's almost $40,000, if not $40,000 a year that our children are going to be receiving without doing anything. They're just going to have to manage a property like we did, which we're going to teach them how to do. So you can see, even though there was a lot of expenses up front, over time this place is going to be such an amazing investment for our family. And I hope that this empowers you and encourages you to go out and do the same thing. I know we talked about all the ugly stuff, but I figured that I needed to tell you guys this because anytime someone hears that we're landlords, they're like, oh, that must be so awesome, right? Like, that's so cool. I wish I could do that. And it's like, yeah, you do wish you could do it, but also know the cost that comes with it so that you can make the right decision. And I don't want anybody to fail if they take the leap. So I want them to know exactly what they're getting themselves into and take the leap anyway, so that ultimately they don't fail in the real estate investment game, but they continue to succeed and pass on this wealth for generations to come. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this story of us becoming landlords and all the different risks that were involved in it. If you like this type of content, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and smash the like button for me. It would really help out the YouTube algorithm. Send this to as many people as it can. And with that being said, guys, I'm Ben. Garcia in the next one.